This is The Process Shot. I'm Michael. I'm stuck in a haunted movie theater, and I've seen Let Me Die a Woman, an odd docu-fiction film directed by Doris Wishman back in 1977. Its main focus is on transgender people, with a primarily educational goal in its somewhat exploitative perspective. Between a lecture from a doctor and interviews with actual trans people, we're made to understand their life experiences and struggles, their physical attributes, and what their bodies go through as they transition over time. As for the exploitation, it's pretty much the other half of the film, taking a break from these interviews and testimonies to showcase reenactments of intimate encounters between trans people and others, as well as the surgical procedures some will undergo to feel more comfortable in their bodies. As you can guess from that description, the final film can leave you with mixed feelings. On the one hand, the contemporary view on trans people is very interesting, not only as a historical document, but also as a bit of a primer or introduction for those who may have only known of the more sensationalized aspects of transgender life, which in itself does come up as a positive influence on some people's lives. The first-person aspects of the stories being told and the interviews that are held are also compelling, and on their own they could have made for an enjoyable documentary, even if they were embellished a bit by the more scientific discussions rather than the personal side. On the other hand, this is still a movie that wants to capitalize on the sensationalism, and that's what much of the film's visual makeup is drawn towards. Even though it does try to take a scientific angle, there's still a clear choice being made to focus on physical attributes and the harrowing processes that can be experienced, as well as an extended look at how those physical changes are not only made, but how they are maintained over time. Naturally, there are also a few points in the film where the action stops completely for some softcore smut, ostensibly as illustrations of trans life, but which could easily be presented out of context as something more straight. It does come back around to tie into the former, of course, but it's still clearly meant to be exploitation. This split in story and tone are almost entirely what make this an odd film to talk about. It's simultaneously a sympathetic approach to a topic which remains controversial to this day to even acknowledge openly, and a sensationalistic piece ripped straight from the headlines capitalizing on the lives of others. It seems like this movie should be in conflict with itself, but it does still work out if looking at it from the other way around. To put it another way, Doris Wishman, whose movies I've seen are almost entirely excuses to show nudity, smut, and other offenses to the art of film, almost seems to be using this exploitation as the selling point, with the rest of the film as a Trojan horse of sorts to give trans people a voice and perspective, through which the audience could learn and listen to those whose lives are so troubled by something they can't exactly control. This probably isn't the best way to tell stories like that, of course, but it's arguably a noble effort. At the very least, the film does still preserve the perspectives of trans people at the time, and that much can justify the film's existence. The rest, that's up to you. Let Me Die a Woman. Doris Wishman, 1977. 3 stars. I would recommend the film, but definitely not for casual viewing. That's it for this review. If you liked it, leave a like. If you have something to add, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Man, this was a heavy one. Even playing it safe might not be enough to avoid getting yelled at online. Maybe I should be glad I have a small YouTube channel. Then again, maybe this will finally be the one to hit the algorithm. Probably not, but you never know.